All right, let's talk about marketing. And no, I don't just mean ads and billboards. Forget about that for a second. The truth is, marketing is this powerful, almost invisible force, and it's quietly shaping thousands of your decisions every single day. I mean, think about it. Have you ever applied for a job? You polish up that resume, you make sure it highlights all your best qualities for that potential boss. Or, how about this? You're trying to convince your friends that the restaurant you picked for dinner is way, way better than their idea. Well, if you've done any of that, congratulations, you're a marketer. Seriously. At its absolute core, marketing is just a fundamental human thing. It's all about figuring out what someone needs and then showing them how you or your idea or your product can meet that need. Okay, so the official definition here, it sounds a little corporate, I know, but it's actually super simple. Marketing is the whole process. It's everything from the spark of an idea for a product all the way to telling people it exists and then, actually getting it into their hands. Now, for decades, the marketing world has pretty much sworn by this classic toolkit, the 4 Ps. You've got your product, what you're selling, the price, what it costs, promotion, how you shout about it, and place, where people can go buy it. Seems logical, right? Straightforward. But this is exactly where so many companies get it completely, totally backward. They start with the product. They start with themselves. And this quote, wow, this just nails the shift we have to make. Sam Walton, the guy who founded Walmart, he knew the real secret. It's not about your company. It's not about your amazing factory or your genius idea. Nope. It all starts and it all ends with one person, the customer. They hold all the power. Which brings us to what I think is the single most important rule in all of marketing. It's just a simple 4-letter acronym, but trust me, it unlocks, well, pretty much everything. WIFM. What's in it for me? That's it. This is the silent question that is constantly, subconsciously playing in your head and everyone else's head. Every single time you look at a product on a shelf or you see an ad pop up online, you're always asking, is this going to solve my problem? Will it save me time? Is it going to make my life better, make me feel good? And if the answer isn't a loud, clear yes right away, you're gone. You just move on. So, okay, if what's in it for me is the big question, then what are the answers? What are all these hidden forces that are actually pushing us to choose, say, this brand of coffee over that one? Well, it's a lot more complex than you probably think. First up, you've got your situation. Just think about this for a second. You walk into a fancy store, and there's that slow, calm music playing. That's not an accident. It's designed to make you chill out, linger, and probably spend more money. Or maybe it's just a rainy, miserable day outside, and suddenly all you can think about is a hot cup of coffee, right? Even your mood or just being in a hurry can completely change what you end up buying. These are temporary things, but man, their impact is huge and immediate. Then we've got the personal stuff, who you are as a person. Your personality definitely matters. Are you the kind of person who seeks out thrills, or are you more cautious? But what's even more powerful is this idea of your self-concept. It's kind of like this. You might buy a super practical sedan because that's who you are right now. But you might find yourself daydreaming about a flashy sports car because that's who you want to be. That's your ideal self talking. And things like your age, your hobbies, your whole lifestyle, they're constantly guiding your choices just like that. And if we dig even deeper, we get to the psychological drivers. This is the stuff happening inside your head. What's your real motivation? Are you buying a Volvo because you have a deep fundamental need for safety? Or are you buying a Rolex because you want to fulfill a need for, status and esteem? And your past experiences, they create these really powerful attitudes. Come on, you know this. If a brand totally lets you down one time, you learn to stay away from it. And that bad feeling, it can stick with you for years. And finally, wrapping around all of this, you've got your social world, your culture, your family, your friends, even influencers you follow. They all set the unwritten rules for what's in, what's out, what's cool, what's not. And these forces are so, so powerful. And sometimes just one single event can come along and change the rules for everybody all at once. Just take a look at this. This shows the incredible power of one single situational change. I mean, when the pandemic hit, the what's in it for me for millions, even billions of people, it just instantly shifted. Suddenly, it was all about safety and convenience. And the result? A massive pivot in the entire economy. A huge move away from public spaces and towards everything at home. All of it driven by a massive, sudden change in what customers needed.
Okay, so we've seen just how critical it is to really understand the customer. But what happens when a company, even a giant company with the most brilliant engineers in the world, gets it wrong? What happens when they stop listening and just build something for themselves instead of for their customers? Let's kick things off with case study number one, the Volkswagen Phaeton. So back in 2002, VW, they built an absolute masterpiece of engineering. This was a premium, full-size luxury car, and it was designed to go head-to-head with the best of the best, like Mercedes-Benz and BMW. I mean, on paper, this car was fantastic. It had every feature you could imagine, top-notch quality. So why was it such a colossal failure? Why did they have to pull it from the market? Well, the product was great. The marketing, a complete disaster. See, the name Volkswagen literally means the people's car. Their entire brand was built for decades on being affordable and reliable. So asking a luxury car buyer to shell out $70,000 for a VW, it created this thing called cognitive dissonance. It didn't make sense in their brains. The wires got crossed. Remember those social and personal factors we just talked about? The what's in it for me for a luxury buyer is all about that. They want the badge, the status, the symbol that reflects their ideal self. And a VW badge, well, it just couldn't do that job. Here's another classic, the Microsoft Zune versus the iPod. The Zune was a good piece of tech, no doubt, but it showed up 5 years late to the party. By then, Apple had already won the marketing war. See, Apple understood that the customer's what's in it for me wasn't about megabytes or tech specs. It was about a simple, almost magical promise. 1,000 songs in your pocket. They owned that idea in everyone's mind. The Zune showed up with a product, sure, but it never had a good answer to the one question every iPod owner was asking. Yeah, but why should I switch? And now for the big one, the legend. The name that is basically a synonym for marketing failure, the Ford Edsel. Ford poured a staggering amount of money into this car. We're talking the equivalent of billions of dollars today. So, why did it fail so spectacularly? Because Ford flat out ignored what was happening with their customers. All the market research at the time was screaming that a recession was coming and that people were starting to want smaller, more fuel-efficient cars. And what did Ford do? They ignored all of it. They went ahead and built a giant, gas-guzzling monster of a car that they thought was cool. They completely forgot to ask that fundamental question, what's in it for the customer? You see the pattern here, right? The crucial point in all these stories is this. Having a fantastic product isn't enough. Having brilliant engineers isn't enough. Even having a massive budget is not enough. Because at the end of the day, successful marketing isn't really a battle of products. It's a battle of perceptions. It isn't about having the best thing. It's about having the best understanding of your customer, their world, their needs, their psychology, and being able to answer that one simple, incredibly powerful question. What's in it for me? So I'll leave you with this. The next time you buy something, anything, a cup of coffee, a new pair of shoes, even just a tube of toothpaste, stop for just a second. Ask yourself, what's the real reason I chose this one? What deep, invisible need is this purchase really fulfilling for me? I think the answer might just surprise you.